Hi, I'm Ridhima. Welcome to the Old Trunk. Today we're doing the anti-TBR tag. I'm back with another tag, and this one's a controversial one. I'd like to give a disclaimer before I start the video. There are no authors that I dislike or no genres that I want to put shade onto. It's just that I'm a very slow reader, and my TBR is my I'd like to specify what TBR is to people who are new here. TBR means to be read. So my TBR is a very sacred and a safe space for me, because when I read a book, I take a lot of time reading it. So I am very deliberate with my choices, and I don't usually add books to my TBR without an intent to committing to them. So I have my thoughts on an anti-TBR tag. So here goes. The first question reads, a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. So this one's a little, it might trigger a few people. But the book that I have no interest in reading is The Midnight Library. Hear me out. The premise doesn't really entice me. The premise being that in the afterlife you visit the Midnight Library and you get to live all the possible lives that you could have lived. So the premise really doesn't entice me to pick up a chunk of a novel. I'd rather read a short story on the same topic. And the second thing for me is, if a book or a film or any form of media is really popular and hyped, I am drawn a little away from it, because I have in the past consumed such media and I've always been underwhelmed and sort of disappointed, because when a thing is hyped or really celebrated, I tend to expect more from it, and I'm 90% of the times I am disappointed. So I don't gravitate towards things that are popular, but this particular book I have no interest in reading. The second question reads, a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading. So there are many, and but the ones that come to my mind right now are Don Quixote, Bleak House, Moby Dick, and The Count of Monte Cristo. I know these books are really important to literature. They've contributed a lot in their ways, but just the sheer length of some and the topics that some of them deal with, I don't think I have the bandwidth or the, I don't align with reading those books. So there are more classics that I don't gravitate towards. And the main reason for this being, I'm a slow reader. I only want to invest in books that really, really, really intrigue me. So yeah, these are some of the few that I don't want to read. The third question reads, an author whose books you have no interest in reading. Okay, so this one's another one of my hot takes, and I might get some slack for it, but I'll say it as it is. That author for me is Sally Rooney. Again, hear me out before you judge me or call me out. I am an old soul. So I do not connect with the millennial dating styles or the millennial ways of, dating, the dating app dramas or the situationships. I don't really understand all of that. I am a very old soul. I dated one guy and ended up marrying him. So I don't connect with the characters or the stories. So I don't think so I'll be ever picking up a Sally Rooney. The second author that I have no interest in reading is Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I went to a bookstore and I read, I guess, 2 chapters from her book Evelyn Hugo, and somehow the language didn't really captivate me. I it was very casual and I don't know what, but I was really put off by it. So I don't think I'll ever be reading any of her books. The second part to this question is question 3.2, a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. So I have a bit of a controversial take here. I do not confuse the art with the artist. And I know I'm coming from a very privileged place. And I believe that all people, and to the effect all artists, are flawed in some way or the other. And I separate the art from the artists, and I consume an art if I want to. It could be a film, it could be music, or then books, because some of my most favorite authors, and maybe some of your favorite authors, are problematic in some way or the other. So I cannot leave them, I cannot. So I'm sorry, but I don't confuse the art and the artist. The next question is an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. I'm extremely sorry for my answer, but that author for me is Charles Dickens. I have given Charles Dickens a read. I've read A Christmas Carol and I've read David Copperfield. They did not work for me. I did not enjoy the experience. I was dragging myself with those books and trying to finish them. So I don't know what it is with Dickens, but I think his style is really long-winded. The whole meandering, it sort of, gets tedious, and I'm sorry to say, but I find it extremely, extremely boring, and I cannot cope with Dickens. Although the story of The Great Expectations really intrigues me, and I'm a person that believes in never say never. So maybe, sometime later, when I have more patience in me and I have more nuance in me, I might pick it up. But for now, I cannot do Dickens. I'm sorry. The fifth question reads, a genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. So if you watched my previous videos, I have been rambling about this since a few of them. And the 2 genres for me are high fantasy and romance. High fantasy I've not even given a try because I cannot get into the endless world building and the endless family trees of dragons and elves and oh my god, please don't get me started. I cannot read high fantasy. Although I have given romance a try, it did not really work for me. So the 2 genres being high fantasy and romance. The 6th question reads, a book you have bought but will never read. This can be a book you have unhauled, returned to the library, unread. Okay, so I again am a very conscious buyer. I buy books with a lot of intent, and if I don't have an intent to read a book, I will not buy it. But despite that, there is a book that I bought to read, but then I manipulated my partner into reading it, and he gave me detailed summaries of every chapter. Thank you, babe. And because of that, I will never have to read the book. Sorry, I did not mention the book. It's Homo Sapiens. And I don't have to read it now. And I intend to do that with the later parts of it as well. He will read and he will give me extensive summaries of every chapter. So that's the perk of having a voracious reader as your husband. So I'm really grateful, and I will not be reading that series. The 7th question reads, a series you have no interest in reading or a series you started and have DNF'd. So one thing about me is, I don't know if I've stated this earlier or not, but I don't DNF. I'm really stubborn that way. I don't like to skim through books, although I do that at times. But I absolutely cannot DNF books. That's my one fatal flaw. And I've tried to, but I can't. So I haven't DNF'd any series or books, but some of the series that I will never be reading in my life are A Song of Ice and Fire, The Lord of the Rings. I think it's The Lord of the Ring, and the Dune series. I'd rather watch the films. I have watched the Game of Thrones series, although I haven't watched The Lord of the Ring, and nor have I watched Dune, but I'll never read those series. The last question reads, a new release you have no interest in reading. Okay, so this one book that has been everywhere on the internet, everybody's adding the book to their pre-orders and whatnot. That book is Catabases by R.F. Kuang. I have no interest in reading that book. The premise doesn't interest me. The genres don't interest me. I will not be reading it, I will not be buying it, and there'll never be a review of that book on my channel. And this never, I think, will hold. So yeah. So that's about it with this tag. If you liked this tag and you would like to do this tag, please feel free to do it. But just tag me in your description so that I can see your video and I can see your answers. And if you're not a creator and you'd still like to do the tag, please feel free to leave your answers in the comments. I read each and every comment. And subscribe if you're new here. Like the video if you like me. If you did not like any of my takes, please criticize me in the comments, but do something. And press that bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. I'll see you with another tag video or then a book review, but I'll definitely see you next time. Until then, stay happy. Thanks for watching. Lots of love. Bye-bye.